Good evening. At this time, we'll call the January 2nd, 2013 meeting of the Yukon City Council to order. If you would rise for the invocation by Pete Billerback of Troop 390 and remain standing for the flag salute, please. If you want to go up to the microphone and pull it down.
Please remove all non-religious headgear. Loving God, thank you for letting us come here today and listen to this wonderful meeting that we're going to have today, and so that all the meeting will go well. And we just pray for this, and we're thankful that for this wonderful country that we have, and we pray for all these things that we have in this city of Yukon, and where we're hosting this meeting, and we pray for just everything that we have. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Gerba. McCarran.
Here.
Opitz.
Here.
Presentations and proclamations. There are none this evening. Next section of the meeting is the visitor section. That's the opportunity for someone to address the council about a non-agenda item. If you have business that you'd like to discuss with the council, please come forward at this time. Announce your name and your address. Any visitors? Visitors? Seeing none, at this time we'll recess as the Yukon City Council and reconvene as the Yukon Municipal Authority. The first item is item 1A. That's the YMA consent docket. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon Municipal Authority, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion to approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of December the 18th, 2012. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Opitz.
Yes.
McCarran.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
At this time, we'll adjourn as YMA and reconvene as the Yukon City Council. The first item on the agenda is the consent docket. It's item 1. This item is placed on the agenda so the Yukon City Council, by unanimous consent, can designate those routine items they wish to be approved by one motion. If an item does not meet with the approval of all authority members, that item will be heard in regular order. The city manager recommends a motion that will approve A, the minutes of the regular meeting of December the 18th, 2012, B, the minutes of the special meeting of December 26, 2012, C, the payment of material claims in the amount of $138,590.52, and D, the denial of claim number 32961ME from Margaret Jones as recommended by the Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group. E, the submittal of a grant application for the 2013 Bureau of Water Reclamation Water Smart Funding Opportunity. F, the submittal of the grant application for 2013 National Endowment for the Arts, Our Town Funding Opportunity. And G, setting the date for the next regular meeting for January 15, 2013, 7 p.m., the council chambers at the Centennial Building, 12 South 5th Street, Yukon, Oklahoma. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
I would like to discuss E and F there for just a little more clarity, I guess. Submittal of the grant application for water reclamation, and the we do have a initial targeted project. Is that correct? And that's the Ranchwood. Which park is that now? Is that the one that's up by the electrical station, or is that the one across from the car wash? I don't.
That's one just north of the electrical substation.
Okay.
That's Ranchwood Park.
So that's the one you're talking about there. Okay. So what we're intending at that point is to come up with a gray water. I guess I'd like to know how that's going to work. Are we taking the pipe back from the main water station out there in the?
To be determined exactly what the full design and engineering will be of that, but the intent is to explore, and if that exploration then proves to be valid, then to design and engineer an irrigation system to take advantage of that water source.
Okay. I guess, Robbie, have we looked at that at all yet, or?
We've looked at it, and the city of Oklahoma City does it with one of their plants, wastewater plants, and they actually pipe gray water to Gaillardia,
Oh, really?
and it's used there, so it's not uncommon.
Okay.
Okay.
That's helpful. And on F, on the National Endowment for the Arts, I noticed that we were looking at perhaps utilizing the old building down on Garth Brooks Boulevard down there. Is that correct? Or
Garth Brooks on the, would be the northwest corner of Garth Brooks and Vandament.
Yeah.
This grant would then study feasibility would pay for the study of the feasibility of converting that to another use, possibly for city use, but to be determined by the study.
Okay, so this is really just a
Exploratory.
exploratory feasibility. Okay. That answers my question. Thank you.
Other discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Opitz,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes. Next item is 2, that'd be the reports of boards, commissions, and city officials. Park Board, Joe Edwards is here tonight, the chairman. Mr. Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate you and the council giving us time to come up here and speak about the Park Board and the Parks Department in general. Like to mention that I have been on the Park Board for approximately 12 years now in one fashion or another, and I'm very excited about the direction that the city is going now. A lot of things have been done to treat the Park Department in a more professional manner. The Park Department has its own Park Board maintenance now, which means they don't have to wait for somebody to get to what needs to be done. We used to do park visits, and if we found something wrong, we'd report it, and the reason the board quit doing that is we found the same things wrong every time we went out because it was on a to-do list at the bottom and it never seemed to get back up. So the parks are looking really good, and I appreciate the current administration's handling of that. They also have gotten a new truck. A lot of times the park workers had to take their own vehicles out and around, so it's just being run in a lot more professional manner, and I do appreciate that. I'd like to introduce, I've got a couple of the Park Board members with me tonight, Joe Bauman and Ed Hatley. D.E. Brower and Ward Larson couldn't be here tonight. I see that Jan Scott, the director, is giving you guys a packet, and this is just some of the things that goes on in the Park Department. We have a professional guide for, excuse me, for winter activities. We've got a calendar, and they're always putting out all kinds of promotional information. The city of Yukon is very lucky to have the staff that we do in Park and Rec. Those of us on the Park Board are very proud to be working with them. We know we're just an advisory committee, but they do listen very well, and they do take a lot of things under advisement as us as citizens and the feedback that we get from the people that we represent. So that being said, I'd like to mention that right now we have 223 acres of parkland in the city of Yukon. It's here, there, and everywhere, but that's still quite a bit. Of that 9.7 acres are ponds. There's 3 ponds that we have. So there's a lot to maintain, and I'd like to also speak towards the new funding that's going to be going on in the future. In the past 10 to 12 years, generally with the Park Board, we've been directed that there's a few $1,000s in the budget to upgrade something a year. Over the past 12 years, we have managed to put new play equipment in most of the parks, one year at a time, one small playground at a time. And now we're thinking a little bit bigger with our budget, and also, again, with how it's run. I know it's been announced, but we have a grant from the Land and Water Conservation Fund that's going to put in a splash pad or a spray ground in Sunrise Park. It's something I've been working towards since 2000. And I'm very excited about that. It's going to be something really awesome. The city's really going to enjoy that. It's going to bring more of the city into the Parks Department because, you know, everything can't be just in one place. So we're looking at, you know, outlying parks, different parts of the city, and access for everybody, because the parks are for everybody. That's what Jan always tells me. Right? Okay. So that's an exciting thing. We've also received a grant that the Parks Department helped get for development of a master trail plan through Yukon, something quite exciting. When you think of parks, you think about ball fields, playgrounds, but, you know, there's more activities than that involved. There's biking, just walking in general. So we're going to try to develop a master plan for some trails through Yukon. That's a pretty exciting time for us. Taylor Park is being slowly but surely developed by the people that use it. The BMX organization has rebuilt their track out there. They've done a great job. They've hosted national meets out there. We've added the nitro racers out there. They did that all on their own. And the soccer club has actually come out and put 2 soccer fields out there for use. So on top of Southwest Covenant's football field, and of course the Spirit field that we have out there for the Spirit League. So, and we've had some generous donations from some of the council members on that. So there's a lot of exciting things happening in Yukon. It's a great place to live. Of course, we have our big events, July the 4th, and the one that just wrapped up, of course, Christmas in the Park. Huge success again, right, Jeff?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 4.5 million Christmas lights out there, several displays. And the new one this year, and there was a lot of publicity on it, was the Marry Me display. Yeah, and how many people do we have try to?
17 that we know of.
And how many backed out?
No.
Okay. So, you know, it's known statewide. I think we have the best display in the state of Oklahoma. It draws a lot of tourism in, puts Yukon's name out there, and makes us all look really great. So, again, I see that, you know, we're going to have a little bit more in the budget. We're talking about developing some more things on a bigger scale, hopefully, and again, around the town, not just in one place. So I appreciate you guys giving me some time to brag on these people because they do a wonderful job. Do you have any questions for me?
Questions?
All right.
No, thank you very much.
Thanks for the time.
Your dedication and your 12 years of working for that splash pad. Maybe we'll get another one in, what, 2024? Will you still be the chairman?
13.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for coming tonight. Next item is 3, and that's consider approving ordinance number 1285, an ordinance which provides an amendment to the Code of Ordinances of the City of Yukon, Oklahoma by amending section 102-64 to include excavation and openings for the purpose of laying communication lines, underground pipelines, and trenches of any kind within the city other than municipal gas, electric, telephone, water, and sewer lines, requiring a bond in the amount of $2,500 and declaring an emergency. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
McCarron.
Yes.
Next item is 3A, that's consider approving the emergency clause.
So moved. Second.
Second. Oh, wait.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
McCarron.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
The next item is 4, and that's consider approving conditional use permit for Landmark Acquisition LLC for the billboard located at 1501 West I-40 as recommended by the Planning Commission. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
I do have a question.
Mr. Smith?
I know that on, we have 2 of these, and maybe I'm being premature in asking this, but this billboard that's going to be going in, is it also going to be capable of being converted to digital?
It is digital.
Both billboards have requested a digital output on both of them. They do have the dimming capabilities at night. They'll dim down where they're not bright,
Right.
like you'll notice in Oklahoma City.
Right.
But for now, my understanding, they're putting one in, and then the second one will come in later as needed.
Thank you.
Mr. McCarron?
Yeah, and there is two positions, is that correct, that they want to do, or is it just one with two sides? I didn't pick that
There
up.
will be a double billboard, but one will only have digital on one side.
Oh, okay, so
Well, both of them will have digital on one side, but the other will just be a fixed.
fixed, no, so it wasn't, that's what I was trying to figure
Yeah,
out.
not a double billboard on each one, no.
Okay, so it's not a double electronic billboard on
correct.
both sides, okay.
But
I
there's
don't-
billboards there now, right?
There is currently,
Currently, there
Yeah.
already are billboards.
Right.
Now, is there anything required for them to tear down the old stuff, or are they gonna,
they will remove the old billboards and place the new ones into their place after you give approval tonight, with whatever conditions you add to it.
okay.
Other comments?
Yeah,
Questions?
he did say one thing on there that I thought was poignant, and that is that they have dimming capability, and if the dimmers fail, they go out.
That's correct. On the ones that are made in the U.S., they have a dimming capabilities, and if they fail, it goes off completely.
Is that true for all the other signs we have?
All
town
the ones
currently?
that we have currently, except for one, meet that criteria.
Which one is that, I guess I'll ask.
We have one on South Garth Brooks there that doesn't have the dimming capabilities because it's one that came from China, and that was before we figured out about the dimming capabilities of the new billboards.
Oh, okay. So that is a requirement then for any future,
Yes, that's actually a requirement of ours. It's actually a requirement of ODOT's because it's on I-40 as well, so they have requirements for that.
okay, and these meet all of ODOT's requirements?
That is
for-
correct. They have to meet our requirements plus ODOT's requirements.
That's all for me, thank you.
Gentlemen?
This is all privately funded. City, other than our approval for the conditional use.
There is
that-
no city funds in these billboards. These
Okay.
are privately held by Landmark. Mhm.
Very good, thank you.
And they are, yeah, I guess I do have one other
Mr.
thing.
McCarron?
They are in conditional use permits, so if there is a problem with them long-term.
That is correct.
Is that renewable every year?
That is correct. It renews every year, and if we have a problem with one not meeting the requirements or violates the requirements, then we can pull that conditional use permit at that time.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was an annual renewal,
Yeah.
not just,
Call the roll, please.
McCarron,
yes,
Smith,
Yes.
Opitz,
Yes.
Alberts.
Yes. Item 5 is consider approving a conditional use permit for Landmark Acquisition LLC for a billboard located at 1649 West I-40 as recommended by the Planning Commission. Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve?
second,
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Opitz,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarron.
yes.
City Manager's report, information purposes only. Mr. Bottom.
Very quick, would like to talk about a subject that was brought up earlier. We have the preliminary reports concerning the success of Christmas in the Park. It appears that we had well over 45,000 cars that toured Christmas in the Park at either one or all of the parks. The largest evening, we saw 1,685 cars go through Chisholm Trail Park one evening. That's pretty remarkable. As far as the number of people, it's pretty hard to guess how many people ride in a stretch limousine with the windows black through the park, but I can tell you that that has become a regularity rather than an exception for Christmas in the Park. It's also rather difficult to know how many people toured the lights by helicopter, which has become another way that people have chosen to enjoy Christmas in the Park. All in all, that was but one of the activities that the Park and Recreation Department took on during the time period from Thanksgiving through the end of the year. Jan, to you and your staff publicly, thank you very much. It was an event-filled period of time, a very successful period, and something that I think our community can take a great deal of pride in. And thank you to your staff and to all the people that helped, Arnold, Jeff, everybody that contributed to making Christmas in the Park a successful event. With that, Mayor, I'm going to wind it up this evening.
The next item is new business. Seeing none, we'll move to council discussion. Mr. Opitz.
I would like to add to what our city manager Grayson has just said about Christmas in the Park. I want to thank all of y'all because it takes everybody to make an event like that happen. It just doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen without dedicated, wonderful people that we have in this community, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I want you to remember it's the first of the year. It's time to set those goals. It's time to set those things that you're reaching out for. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 2 years? What do you want to happen? What do you want the future of Yukon to look like in 2 to 5 years? What do you see out there? What's your vision? Set some goals and let's make it happen. We have such a wonderful community and a blessed city like no other I've ever seen. And I'm just so excited just to be a part of it. And I want it to go further and further and further. And I believe God is just breathing his favor on this city. Mayor?
Mr. Smith.
Yes, one thing I'd like to bring up is this comes from a very good source. On Christmas Eve, Santa was down at the park, and you mentioned how many vehicles, how many people you could count in a limo. He assured me that even the cars had multiple people in it. There was no individual driving through that park, so the number of people it would be countless, I would think. That being said, you know, we couldn't do this job up here without the support and understanding of our wives. Mm-hmm. Today is my 27th wedding anniversary.
Congratulations.
And sorry, I get a little verklempt when it comes to my wife, but most of you that know us and know my wife know that I'm married way over my head. And not only is she beautiful, but she's the most kind person I know. So happy anniversary, baby. And that's all for me.
Congratulations. Mr. McCarron, can you top those two?
I don't know. I'm getting kind of worried here. Somewhere between sympathy for Ken and, you know, giving a...
I don't need sympathy. I'm blessed.
Amen.
Well, if it helps out, Ken, I'm in the same boat. I'm married to a wonderful woman who tolerates me as well. And it's been good for me. I just want to wish everybody a happy new year. A lot of you folks that are here, you know, make that happen for the city, and I'm always pleased to see the Boy Scouts are here tonight, and some of the other folks, the park board, glad to see you guys come up and join us for this evening as well. But I think that's it for me. You know, just a real happy new year, and may this next year be as blessed as the one that we've just gone through. I certainly have had a wonderful time and have enjoyed every minute of my time here, and just want everybody to know that how good it really truly has been. So, Mayor?
Thank you. Well, Rick, I'm going to say something about Carla. They've said something about their wives, so how about Bonnie? You better say something.
Let me
Your turn.
Bonnie is the best. Let me tell you something. I've been married to that woman for 41 years, and she's the best. All kidding aside, though, without our wives and without what they see us do and what they push us to do, what would we do without those women? Mm-hmm. They are wonderful.
Amen. And I'm blessed too. Carla has a lot of patience. She's at home managing John. I'm supposed to get home and play some games here in a minute. So yes, we're very lucky to have great ladies that take good care of us. I just did some quick numbers. At 45,000, if there's 3 a car, that's 135,000 people that went through there. If they're average 5 a car, that's 225,000 that went through there. So easily, I mean, there's got to be more than 3 a car. So I suppose maybe someone would drive through there by themselves, but probably not. Anyway, And I want to say thank you for the people that live around the park and their patience, because I know sometimes living in Spring Creek, it's kind of difficult to get in and out of there sometimes, but it's worth it. I think that the cars in our community, they show off our community, they help our community grow. Other people come here. It's amazing the people that I meet and talk to in Oklahoma City that say, I live in Yukon. And I say, well, where do you live? And they tell me a Yukon mailing address, but I know that that's not Yukon. But I want you to know that even those people consider this their home. So all of what you all do, I mean, this community reaches out. It's amazing how this little community has grown and grown and grown, and so many people come here and make it a part of their lives. So thank you all that work so hard for doing that. As far as Rick, I agree. Let's get moving. I've gained about 5 pounds. I'm going to start running and getting ready for the Oklahoma City Memorial Marathon. I'm going to do the half. I'm not going to do the whole one. I'm going to do the full marathon in 2 years, but I'm building up to that. Jan, you have a walking class that starts at the Cooper Gym, and when is it?
Tuesday, but you can walk there any weekday.
Okay. So any weekday at noon, you can come and walk, but on Tuesdays, hopefully we're going to get a group of people that are going to start walking and moving. And so the community center is still open, opens at 6 to come and exercise. So if you want to make fitness part of it in our community, you have great places to go in and take advantage of. So with no other business before the council, thank you all for a great year, and I look forward to 2013.
Mr. Mayor, I think there's an executive session.
I was ready to go home. Seeing one other form of business, we will now move to item 10, and that's consider a motion to adjourn for executive session and reconvene as the Yukon City Council.
You're still ahead of yourself.
Item
Number 9.
I had it upside down. Now, here we go. All right, consider a motion. I wrote too many notes over top of that. Item 9. Consider a motion to recess as the Yukon City Council and reconvene into the executive session for discussion of the employment of the city manager as provided by Title 25 OS 2003, Section 307B1. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Smith,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
Opitz.
Yes.
Okay. This time we'll adjourn.
See you. Have a good day.
Nice knowing you, Bottom.
Yeah, thank you. Didn't take very long either.
Don't be flattered. We didn't talk about you the whole time. At this time, we're at item 10. I'd consider a motion to adjourn from executive session and reconvene as the Yukon City Council, please.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll.
Alberts,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Opitz,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Now read this one. Okay. I would like now to read the minutes of the executive session. While in executive session, only the items on the agenda were discussed, no action was taken, and no votes were cast. The next item is 11. That's consider a motion to amend the terms of the city manager employment contract. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? Discussion? Call the roll, please.
Opitz,
Yes.
Alberts,
Yes.
McCarron,
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Now, seeing no other business before this council, thank you, Mr. Ziegler.